all of a sudden I'm bleeding all over the place. Blood is just gushing out of my face.
An innocent victim caught in the middle of a gunfight in southeast Portland this week is now calling on Portland's mayor and city council to do more to reduce the city's epidemic of shootings. Mayor Ted Wheeler just unveiled an emergency declaration yesterday, which he says will help reduce gun violence in this city by 10% in the next 2 years.
Katu's Eric Mock shows us why gun violence victims and advocates say it may not be enough to really help.
Katie Guzenko was driving down Powell near this intersection when a stray bullet hit her in the face. That was from a gunfight that was happening here, according to investigators. And she says she wants Mayor Ted Wheeler's emergency declaration to go further to protect innocent people like her from getting caught in the literal crossfire.
I've lived in Portland my whole life, and Powell's a pretty popular street too. Get from point A to point B. And so I've driven past that street thousands of times.
Thousands of times driving down Powell Boulevard, says Katie Guzenko. But when she drove down it Wednesday on her way to run an errand, she found herself in the middle of a gunfight. One of the bullets striking her in the face.
And there was more gunshots, and all of a sudden I'm bleeding all over the place. Blood is just gushing out of my face.
Another innocent victim of Portland's gun violence epidemic. She heard about Mayor Ted Wheeler's declaration of emergency Thursday to try and reduce gun violence, which Mayor Wheeler says will aim to reduce the number of shootings in Portland by 10% over 2 years.
I mean, 10%, like a 10% reduction is nothing.
She's not the only one who thinks the plan isn't aggressive enough.
You feel like this stuff really doesn't go far enough to address the issue.
I'm going to go back to my original word. Pathetic.
Royal Harris has worked in the community to address gun violence, and he says Portland needs to partner with other governments and agencies to really make a difference.
We have a multi-pronged, multifaceted problem that requires cross-jurisdictional, private-public partnership.
But another community activist, Lionel Irving, with Love is Stronger, says he believes the mayor's emergency declaration can help. He works with young black men to help them turn away from gun violence. Irving says he thinks the declaration can help them expand their operation.
I see it as an opportunity for organizations like myself to finally receive some true backing, because Love is Stronger has held over 20 pro-social events in some of the most violent areas.
Guzenko says things need to change in Portland for her and many others to feel safe again.
I mean, Portland's my home, and I don't plan on moving anywhere, and I don't want to live in fear. I mean, if it continues to rise, then, I think that we don't have any choice but to live in fear.
How we can protect ourselves.
It all started as a domestic violence call and ended with a deadly officer-involved shooting. Portland police say they shot and killed a man after they say he fired his gun first. Now neighbors tell us they're becoming increasingly concerned about gun violence and their safety. Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Catherine Kissel. K2's Megan Allison joins us live from outside of PPB's East Precinct. And Megan, what do we know, first of all, about this shooting so far?
Well, Catherine, police tell us East Precinct officers responded to Southeast 148th Avenue and Clinton just after midnight to a report of a man and woman physically fighting. PPB says that man fired a gun and an officer returned fire. That suspect was then declared dead at the scene, and this is now an ongoing investigation.
Although this deadly officer-involved shooting started as an isolated domestic violence call, people in Southeast Portland were alarmed to hear about another shooting in their neighborhood early Sunday morning. Those I spoke with say they've noticed a spike in gun violence over the last year. That includes Judy Christensen, who went outside her home after hearing gunshots early Sunday.
We heard a distinctive gunshot, very loud, and my son and I both said, "Oh my God, that's awful close." And then split second later, there was 5 more. Bam, 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 bam.
Christensen says she lives in a senior community that's now living in fear.
A lot of these people they're not ever coming out again. There's a lot of older people here. But after last night, I'm not going anywhere without protection. I actually thought last night about getting a gun, getting the permit for concealed weapon.
Dakota Nance works just down the road from this recent shooting. He's taking new measures to protect himself as well.
I carry around like a pocket knife, pepper spray, taser, anything like that, just offhand, just in case if something goes down, then I'm readily able to protect myself.
Both neighbors tell us safety is a growing concern here.
It's definitely been getting worse over the last 7 or so years since I've been living in this area, because I've lived in this area for like basically all my life. Throughout this entire time, I've seen a dramatic increase in crime as well as shootings and violence.
The Portland Police Bureau says they will now conduct an internal review of the incident, looking at the response, tactics used, and post-shooting actions. Officers tell us that case then goes to a group of Bureau and community members.
This park, Dawson Park, was the site of a shooting just earlier this year, and organizers say they're taking back the park. This is a community event with local vendors, businesses, a lot of activities for the kids, and great live music. The event Unity in the Community aims to celebrate the work the community has been doing, bringing the kids together, bringing people together to lower gun violence.
I work with a lot of youth in the community that are in gangs and violence, all type of stuff. It's a lot of things that they're involved in. So we're just trying to get them on a different track, really, basically.
Attendees say gun violence in Portland has been more and more prevalent, and they can see it. I also talked to other attendants who have ideas of how they think gun violence can be lowered here in Portland.